Hello, hope you are all fine. Today I am going to talk about the next kingdom of the living organism, and this is the kingdom fungi. The fungi constitutes a unique kingdom of heterotrophic organisms. It shows various characters similar to plants and various characters similar to animals. The plants that they are stationary, and like animals they do not make their own food because they occupy a special place in the kingdom living organisms. Therefore this group is a very unique group, and it occupies, and just because of one character, that the kingdom fungi they possess the cell wall, it is studied under the botany. Group fungi, this is a group of the organisms which are eukaryotic, saprophytic. They are eukaryotic means the cells have well defined nucleus. Saprophytic means they show absorptive mode of nutrition. They are parasitic organisms. They are parasites, and because they are parasites they take their food from the host on which they live. This group is a diverse group consisting of unicellular fungi such as yeast and the multicellular fungi, where there is a lot of variation ranging from few cells to many cells to the large structures, having chitin in their cell wall, because of which they are placed in the kingdom Plantae. The chitin is different from the composition of the plant cell wall, and they have ergosterol and zymosterol in their cell membrane. Now let me talk about the special features, the general features that the fungi group is having. The group fungi, with its exception of the unicellular yeast which is unicellular, fungi are filamentous structure. Only yeast is the group which is unicellular, the group is multicellular. The body of the fungi, it is filamentous, but it is a little different, that is it is shows a gradation from the unicellular filamentous to multicellular organism in its evolutionary pathway. Their bodies, they consist of long slender thread-like structures called as hyphae, and network of hyphae is called as mycelium. I will explain my point with the help of this diagram. As you can see on the screen, these thread-like structures, they are constituting the hyphae. These thread-like structures, they form the hyphae, and the hyphae, when the network of the hyphae is there, it forms the mycelium. This is the body structure of the hyphae. Now here one thing more I am showing you on this screen, that some hyphae are continuous tubes like this one. These are the continuous tubes which have no cellularization has taken place inside it, but a number of nuclei are present in it. You can see in this diagram that you can see here that it is a multinucleated unicellular long filamentous tube, and this is called as the cenocytic hyphae. And others, as you can see here, some fungi they show the cenocytic behavior, while others they show the multinucleated multicellular hyphae, and they have the cross walls in their hyphae. The cells wall of the fungi, as I already told you, they consist of the chitin and the polysaccharides. Now next is the some hyphae are cenocytic and some have the cross walls, and now I am talking about their mode of nutrition. That is, they are mostly heterotrophic in their behavior. They are saprophytic. They live as sometimes as parasites and symbiotic. I will explain these terms one by one. Heterotrophic means they cannot manufacture their own food, and they depend on the host on which they live for their food. By the term saprophytic, I mean to say fungi is a group of organisms which consist of the saprophytic behavior, that is, they absorb the food from the host on which they live. They are parasitic, of course, and the last one is symbiotic. Symbiotic is the behavior where the two organisms live in close association with one another in such a way that both are benefited from each other. And this symbiotic relationship of fungi and algae is a typical example which is called as the lichens. The lichens are the symbiotic association of fungus and the hyphae. I would be talking about the lichens in my next lecture. Now, after talking about the general features of the group fungi, I am taking up its reproduction. Fungi reproduces by a number of ways. All possible modes of reproduction are there. Reproduction in fungi can take place by vegetative means, by fragmentation, by fission, and by budding. Now, first of all, and then asexual reproduction is there as well as sexual reproduction is also there. First, I will take up the vegetative reproduction, which takes place by fragmentation, by fission, and by budding. Fission means breaking of the parent parts into smaller parts, and each broken up part, it grows into a complete hypha or the mycelium. Fission means that one cell divides into two. This fission and the budding mechanism is very common in yeast Saccharomyces cerevisiae, where the parent cell protrudes and produces a bud and it becomes a new organism. The asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction in fungi takes place by means of spores. As you can see on the screen, I have given here the structure of the spore. Talking about the spore in the group fungi is very important because fungi produces a number of variety of the spores which are more a method of survival than the method of reproduction. You can see on the screen it is a thick coated structure which consists of the outer membrane with a thick coat, then there is a cortex, then there is a germ cell wall and the inner membrane, and it remains like this. Mainly the structure of the spore is like this, but there are various types of spores which are produced in the fungi and all constitute the mode of sexual as well as the asexual reproduction. Now I have written here the types of the spores which are produced, which are asexual in nature. They are conidia, sporangiospores, zoospores, and many others. Whereas the sexual spores, they consist of oospores, ascospores, and basidiospores. Spore is the only method of reproduction, asexual reproduction in fungi. This is the structure of the spore, and now I will tell you how does the sexual reproduction takes place in the fungi. The sexual reproduction involves the following three steps. First step is the plasmogamy, then the karyogamy, and then meiosis results in the formation of the dikaryon phase. You can see in the diagram that when a fungus reproduces sexually, two haploid hyphae of the compatible mating type. The compatible mating type, I mean to say that the two hyphae of the similar fungus which come closer to each other, mating type, they come together and fuse. In some fungi, the fusion of the two haploid cells immediately results in the formation of diploid nucleus, as you see in the diagram. However, in others, the fungi, the groups included in this are ascomycetes and the basidiomycetes. Before resulting in the diploid cell, an intervening stage comes. Intervening stage is called as the dikaryon stage, where the cytoplasm of the two cells has fused but the nuclei have not fused. This stage is called as N+N, that is 2 nuclei per cell occurs, and this stage is called as dikaryon, and the phase is called as dikaryophase of fungus. This is not a permanent phase. Later, the parental nuclei fuse and cell becomes diploid. Fungi forming fruiting body in which the reproduction occurs, leading to the formation of the haploid spore. Now, because it is a very large group, and the morphology of the mycelium is quite diverse, mode of reproduction is quite diverse, and the formation of fruiting body is quite diverse. We have divided, because fungi is a large group, we have divided it into further subgroups. Now, grouping of the fungi on the basis of certain characters is done like this. You can see on the screen the group fungi. It consists of the groups Gymnomycota, Oomycota and Eumycota. In case of Gymnomycota, these are the slime molds and are excluded from the fungi, and they are placed in the kingdom Protista that we have already discussed in the kingdom Protista. Then comes the Oomycota, where the mycelium is present but it is aseptate, that is cenocytic behavior, and two groups are phycomycetes and zygomycetes included in this. Both are cenocytic in nature, but they are different from each other with certain characters that I will just now be discussing with you. And then there is Eumycota, means true mycota, true fungi, where the mycelium is septate, that is there is no cenocytic behavior, and it consists of mycophycophyta, which consists of three groups: the deuteromycetes, ascomycetes and the basidiomycetes. Now, I will be discussing these groups one by one. So first I will just telling you that these four groups are the phycomycetes, ascomycetes, basidiomycetes and deuteromycetes. As you can see in this figure, that this I have written here the four groups: phycomycetes, ascomycetes, basidio, and these are the four groups which are discussed in your syllabus. First, let us take the kingdom phycomycetes. Phycomycetes is a aquatic fungi and also lives on the decaying wood in moist and damp places, or as the obligate parasites on the plants. The mycelium is aseptate, it is cenocytic. Asexual reproduction takes place by zoospores or by the aplanospores. The zoospores are motile, whereas the aplanospores are non-motile. These spores are endogenously produced in the sporangium. Endogenously means that's inside the sporangium. A zygospore is formed by the fusion of two gametes. These gametes are similar in morphology. That's why we call this feature as the isogamous. Or if they are dissimilar, then the feature is called as anisogamous. Some examples are Rhizopus, Albugo, Sporolegnia, then Pythium, etc. And then the ascomycetes. The ascomycetes is a group of fungi which is also called as the sac fungi. The ascomycetes are multicellular. Penicillium are, for example, penicillium, and a rare example yeast, which is unicellular. Mycelium is branched and septate. The asexual spores are conidia, produced exogenously on the special mycelium called as the conidiospores. Conidia on germination produces, now you can see here I have written here that conidia on germination produces mycelium. Sexual spores are called as the ascospores. These are the ascospores are present in a group in a bag-like structure which is called as ascus, and they are borne on the fruiting body called as the ascocarps. Some examples are aspergillus, yeast, penicillium, neurospora and passisa. In our syllabus, we will be in our lecture next lecture we will be discussing about the yeast and the penicillium in detail. Now next comes the basidiomycetes. Here I will be discussing with you the group of the fungi which is a group of mushrooms, bract fungi or puffballs. They grow on the soils or logs or tree stumps and in the living plant bodies as parasites, where they cause the rust and the smut in various plants. Mycelium is branched, septate. Asexual spores are generally not found, but vegetative reproduction by fragmentation it takes place. Sex organs are absent, but plasmogamy is brought about by the fusion of two vegetative or the somatic cells of different strains of the genotype. The resultant structure is a dikaryote which gives rise to basidium. Karyogamy and meiosis takes place in basidium producing basidiospores. We shall be discussing the life cycle of the mushroom, where I will be telling you about the basidium and the basidiospores in detail. The basidiospores are exogenously produced. Basidia are arranged in the fruiting body called as basidiocarp, and very common examples of this group are agaricus, polyporus, puccinia, astilago, and lycoperdon. I will be discussing with you the agaricus in detail in my next lecture. Now you can see the last group is the deuteromycetes, which is also called as the fungi imperfecti. Now why it is called fungi imperfecti? Because only asexual or vegetative phase of the fungi is known till now. When the sexual form of these fungi were discovered, they moved to some other classes, either ascomycetes or the basidiomycetes. It's also possible that the asexual and vegetative stage have been given one name and they are placed under this group, deuteromycetes. Very simple, that deuteromycetes is a group where no sexual reproduction is found. Only perfect stages of the members of once the perfect stage, that is the sexual stage of the members of deuteromycetes is discovered, they are moved either to the ascomycetes or to the basidiomycetes. Deuteromycetes reproduce only by asexual spores known as conidia. The mycelium is septate and branched. Some members are saprophytes and some are parasites, while a large number of them, they are the decomposers of the litter, and this is economically very important group because they cause the mineral cycling. Examples are Cercospora, Coletotrichum, then Trichoderma, Pyricularia, and Fusarium. I shall be discussing with you the Trichoderma in detail in my next lecture. So these are the some features of the group fungi. We will continue with these life cycles and the various other features in the next lecture. Till then, have a very nice day. Stay safe, stay healthy till we again meet on this technical portal, the e-learning. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And